All right, looks like we are live, and obviously no countdown, no check-in, login thing. So this is not a guest appearance with anybody. I don't have anyone waiting in the wings to enter in. Just wanted to do a quick catch up. I think I put a heading up on this thing. I think I call it the confluence of threes or something like that. But it's been an interesting 2 or 3 weeks, maybe even a month, 6 weeks for me from a number of different perspectives. So I think most of you know that I started a new job in October last year or thereabouts. And it's fairly complicated, sort of turning the business around, trying to make it more viable thing. And obviously, most recently, I've had COVID, and then we're also trying to sell a house at the same time as all those things. And so, whoa, there's Mo. Hey, man, how you doing? And so it's interesting how those three elements have all been kind of bubbling along. Now, obviously, the COVID thing's only been like the last 2.5 weeks or whatever, but the job has just become just in many respects, it's fantastic, but the fiscal side of things has been a little bit of a cluster because we're suing the founder and all this sort of nonsense, and it's been touch and go on a weekly basis, literally, whether or not we would be in business on a weekly basis, right? And that's sort of the decision I have to make each week. Okay, do we keep going or not keep going and stuff like that? And so things all came to a head this week, right in the middle of me having this monster 4.5 day migraine thing. And at the same time, we're firing our real estate agent because, hey, sweetie, you suck. And as I've done that, or my wife did that actually, as she canceled all those arrangements, once all that was all signed off and, I's dotted and T's crossed, a guy that I had spoken to a long time ago connected with me and was talking about, hey, let's get together and chat. I want to talk to you more about your house. And so I last night I had this great conversation with this guy. And we were trying to come to terms on if he wanted to buy the house, what would that look like? How much money did he have? What was the timing of that like? How flexible was I? And all the rest of it. And of course, if I'm not paying 6% commission, I got a whole bunch of flexibility, right? I mean, I can put my left leg behind my right ear if I need to. And then while I'm having that conversation with the guy, well, not exactly while, but in and around the time, I get an email from our corporate lawyer who was emailing with the dude we're suing, and then the other party that is involved in the suit, saying, oh, well, look, the founder has agreed to loan the company, a six-figure amount of money as part of the settlement, assuming that they lose. And if they don't lose, then we owe the company money. And what terms would I want for that amount of money? And so, what rate would we pay and shit like that? So all of this. So, and of course, yesterday is the first day. Actually, it's not true. Today's the first day that I haven't had any medication and any pain, any anti-nausea, anything, any steroids or any of that sort of stuff. I feel great, right? And yesterday was a pretty okay kind of day. I actually stayed awake the whole day and functioned and did some work, and I actually wrote up like 1,200 words on an essay and packed up some things around the house and whatnot. Packed up some games that I'd had messing around with, but I'm not going to get to at the moment. So confluence of three things, right? So I'm feeling better. Get this relatively positive note from work that within 7 days, this founder person will do the right thing and keep supporting the company. And then the third thing is that I had this chap expressed some interest. Fairly serious, well qualified. I think I'm quite capable of assessing, the veracity of people's words. I've spent my life judging people from that perspective, and he seems pretty serious. So it was a great night last night. And I just want to share that. So it was like, it's funny how these things are like in the middle of all this misery last week, because it really was pretty miserable. That out of the arse end of all that comes, it's like 3 buckets of good news all at once. So feeling tons better, and yeah, Mo, he is going to go above your $5 offer. He's offering $7.50. Crazy, yeah, $7.50. Crazy stuff. So there you have it. Now, what does that mean for everything? Well, I still don't have a contract on the house. More important, so all the work stuff doesn't affect whether my gaming. Well, it does to a certain extent, but because it's time. And with COVID over and done with, I can get back to having sort of the energy level that I have. I would expect of myself in terms of gameplay and being able to write things up. And I spent some time last night sort of looking over. I have an enormous backlog of stuff that is not written up. I have a lot of video that's been done over the last 3, 4, 5 weeks, but I haven't got, all the way back to whenever the Kansas, the St. Louis trip was. I've got a Carthage ride out there that I haven't done yet. It's half done, so I need to finish that. So I've got probably a dozen gameplays that need to be written up, but we'll get to those over time. No drama. The important thing is to, as long as I've got my notes, we're in good shape. So what am I going to do with myself, and what sort of game should I be playing? More interesting to yourselves, I think, would be, and I'd love to hear from everybody. I'm obviously, I have Bug River still set up, so we're gonna get after that probably this week. We've got one more showing either later today or tomorrow with the former agent. She's one last desperate person that she thinks wants to purchase the house, but I know they don't, but that's okay. Tony, yes, Tony, I I have certainly failed on that Carthage thing. We'll get that done, buddy. You're probably not going to have. We won't have very many very positive things to say about you, Tony, because you're a terrible general, just terrible. I'm kidding. I kid. Isn't it? That's what Don Rickles used to say. I'm kidding. So let's see. Bug River, we're going to get that done. Tony and I have a game of DAC 2 going on that is sort of languishing because Tony's been off on vacation, like living life like a king, while the rest of us are slaving away through the summer. So there's that. I was talking to Stigler by message recently. That I think he and I want to have a conversation about the Central Front system, and I'd be curious to have that conversation. Maybe that's just an interview, I don't know, but I want to catch up with Stiggs on his experiences with the Central Front system. You should go check out his channel. He's got I think he's up to part 8 or 9 now, or 10 perhaps even, as he's going through a combined gameplay on Vassal of the Central Front series. So that's pretty interesting. And yeah, Mark, I will be all over the Bug River stuff. I'm starting to see some stuff online. Other folks are starting to play, so it's good, and that's what's keeping my enthusiasm up for it. And then it's Mark. I think Mark. No, it's not you. It's Blast Pop. I'm just been thinking about the Korean War. I'd like to get that on the table, probably the new version, and play the full campaign out. That's something that's kind of an itch that I need to scratch after playing the this small scenario that I did up in the mountains. I pulled out the old counters that I'd left here in Austin, the thinner ones, and was going over just how bad, or non-usable they were in terms of the offsets for the counters, and I think I could probably play with them, which means that we could clip them and clean them up, and they would be reasonably well, more visually appealing than the silliness that went on with the thick ones, which are printed on reverse sides and too thick to be clipped and peeling apart, and they're a bit of a train wreck. So I think we're going to try and give that a little bit of love if we can. I need to keep things fairly, modest in terms of a space, just in case we we do relist the house at some point in the near future. I can't obviously have Deadly Northern Lights set up and then sort of just scramble to pack that up. So, or the third winter, which is something I would love to get on the table, right? I'd love to get that set up as soon as possible. But maybe there's other scenarios, one or two mappers that we could try from OCS, for instance, that might be something of interest. So if anyone else is here, why don't you pop in and say hi? I see 14, 15 odd folks, mostly YouTubers by the looks of it. Come say hello and offer some suggestions on what to play. You've all seen my collection enough times as I wander around. I can do small stuff, right? Lock and load is easy to do. World of War, I haven't played World of War in ages, right? So maybe we need to get some World of War action going on. I tell you what, if we do sell this house in the next 30, 60 days with this guy, we're playing it super cool and laid back in terms of timing. I'm going to need to do a pretty significant cleaning out, like 100 games type of thing. I want to clean out my my collection a little bit. There are some things that I'm done with, and there are some things that I know there are new versions coming that I probably want the new version versus the current version. So I'm going to be selling off a lot of games, and I want to get rid of a lot of my magazine games, other than those that are actually useful magazines. So all of the older SBI magazine games and all of the World at War stuff that I might happen to have lying around, or others, Tiny Battles and stuff like that. I'm probably going to let all those go. So if you have any interest, go check my Board Game Geek profile out. See stuff that's for trade in there. By all means, hit me up, and if we can come up with something. I don't want to do trades, obviously, but I would be more than happy to take a sale, and it'll be a reasonable price. As long as it I have a piece of hair here somewhere. There we go. As long as it's a reasonable price, it's not a charity, right? I use the game sales to finance my hobby here. I don't have advertising turned on, and I don't have I don't get commissions from publishers or any of that sort of stuff, and I don't get paid to do any of those things. So I self-finance my hobby, like most of the other bloggers that are watching here right now. Martin, good to see you. What's going on, my friend? And I think I said hi to Mark already. Tony, you and I need to work out a time. Next week would be great, actually, for us to play some DAC 2. I've worked out how to do the streaming now that I can do 4K streams, so that people will actually be able to see the map, and it'll look a lot more attractive. So if we want to do some gameplay there, we can. We can do it all through StreamYard, but I can use OBS now, and I worked out what the problem was with my PC, so that worked well. Mr. Villegas, good to see you. Yeah, if there were some smaller Deadly Northern Lights scenarios, I would probably be down to do that. But there's not, unfortunately. So it's going to have to wait until we move into an interim house, which I'm told I'm going to have a room. We'll see how that all actually ends up. I don't trust my wife when it comes to that. Charles, what's going on, bud? Good to see you. So I thought I'd just catch up anyway and just shoot the shit for a little bit. So what else is going on with everybody? I know Mo's got, you still got NATO on the table, Mo? Tony, what do you got on the table? Oh, SBI spies and plot to assassinate Hitler. Very nice. Now that plot to assassinate Hitler is an interesting game. I do not have Blue Water Navy, and I read the rules for it, and I was pretty intrigued because I thought it was because it's a derivative of Breaking the Chains, and I was not impressed with that game. But I read the rules, and I quite liked what I read, and I've seen the subsequent modules come out, so I'm very curious to see how that would play. Uh, Also very curious about the Lock and Load publishing new naval game. That looks very, very intriguing as well. I don't know whether it's going to be a fleet replacement for everybody or whether it'll be something that's you know, and another and kind of like fleet and like Blue Water Navy. There's seems to be a little bit of a theme going there with new naval games coming out. Well, Mo, don't get interrupted. I mean, just tell your wife to go sort out her own problems. Bo, good to see you. Toby, good to see you. Yeah, the counters for Bug River. If I was going to complain about that game at all, is that it's almost a little too um, shiny, right? The counters are super slippery, and I think if unfortunately I've got it set up, so I'm not going to pull it down and then put it back up again. But I would you can spray Cryon on counters, and that helps give them a little bit more tactile touch. And that's one of those games that I probably would have done before I punched it. I would have sprayed both sides of the counter sheets with this Cryon stuff. I forget what it's called. It's like a varnish, basically, and it helps the with the tactile nature of the counters and stops them from being as slippery. It's a little thing I do. I actually do it with most of my OCS games because I find the huge stacks when you're trying to pick them up, something will often slip, and just that little extra bit of grip makes a difference. Not that I'm crazy like that or anything, but yeah, there's a tendency for them to like pop out of your hand and slide across the map, and you're like, okay, now where was that guy? Toby, did I pick up the new NATO game? Yes, I did. I have it here. I've skimmed the rules, read sort of the grognard version of the rules. Uh, it's getting a lot of airplay now, so I'm probably not super excited about getting it to the table in the immediate short term because it'll just be kind of get lost in the noise. I'm going to wait and sort of take a more considered approach to that system and to the game, and maybe do a side-by-side play with the old version as well, and do a compare and contrasts versus, the last thing I want to be is the 100th guy that comes out and goes, "Oh, it's so amazing! I can't believe the rule book's so good." So I don't want to be that guy so much. Let's see what else. Who else has got any other thoughts or comments? Not much. You guys are all pretty tedious today. What's the deal? I'm finally feeling better, and you got nothing to say. What's up with that? Hey, Matt White, there he is. Now, everyone should check out Matt White's YouTube channel, but then also obviously his artwork, but more importantly, his Kickstarter. Matt, why don't you post a link to the Kickstarter here so the folks can go check it out? It's a print and play Kickstarter, so super inexpensive. Matt's made a couple of other games in the past that have been print and play. You're thinking, arts and crafts. Okay, do I really want to do that? But it's Matt's artwork on counters, so you've got cool top-down tank views and infantry units and all this sort of good stuff on a what looks like a pretty innovative little map and set of rules to get some tactical action going on in World War II, Americans versus Germans. So you should check it out. Matt, post a link to your Kickstarter by all means here. It'd be cool. Gary, what's going on? Gary's kind of checking in. I'm going to guess that. Yeah. I guess Garrett, I think he's saying he likes that idea about spraying the Crayola. I think you guys know what I'm talking about. If you're a modeling guy, you know, I could jump up, but like that would mean making an effort. So Bruce Reynolds, what is up? What's going on, Bruce? Good to see you. Yeah, Matt, post a link, bud. I'm still waiting. Let me see it. Let's see here. What else we got going on? So that's everything. I mean, I haven't been reading a lot of rules. I'm way behind on my rule reading as well. It's been a nightmare from that perspective. It's funny. All I could do was I had when I was sick. I had this really shitty series of military sci-fi stories that I was reading, and I was kind of like flipping pages on my phone, going boring, boring. Oh, look, something happened. Boring, boring, boring. So I probably finished 4 or 5 books, but that's about it. So it's kind of odd. Tomas, what's up there? How are we doing? Glad to see folks in Europe are checking in. This is one of the side benefits of doing an 11 a.m. Live stream. Most of the Americans are busy doing honeydew chores and stuff like that, I think. So, all right. What else? I'm trying to think. Rules wise, like I said, I read the NATO rules, and you know what I did do yesterday? This is how good I was feeling yesterday. Is that I played a 6-turn scenario of lock and load. That's a follow-on to an earlier scenario I had done with the French Foreign Legion in hypothetical World War III. Excuse me, from the Heroes of the Red Star. And I just drank a protein shake, so I'm a little burpy here. So pardon me. I drank the shake. I played this scenario, and it gave you 2 artillery shots and 2 aircraft support missions for the French Foreign Legion, which are essentially on the run from Soviets in some sort of ambush nonsense, right? And so I thought, well, here's an opportunity to test out the new artillery rules in Lock and Load Tactical. And if you all know Lock and Load Tactical, you know that when you put a fire for effect marker down, that it's the hex it lands in and all of the adjacent hexes get the full firepower value. So if it's a 5, it's a 5 in the middle and 5 around the edges. But you can also change the structure of your artillery now with all these brand new, fantastic, non-optional rules that have been added into the Lock and Load Tactical system. And so you can run a string. I think it's 5 hexes or 6 hexes. I think it's 6 hexes. I think, and so it might even be more than that. And you can run a line of artillery. And so I noticed that as the Soviets were trying to box in the French Foreign Legion, that they had a BMP in the crops. They had 2 squads in a building, 3 hexes away. Then 3 hexes further down the line, they had a squad in the woods, and then a BMP next to it. It's like, well, let's put these new rules to work, because surely that won't affect the gameplay balance at all. So boom, laid this thing out. It all came in. I adjusted it in, and I got to put 5 firepower on every single stack of all the Soviet units. I shook every vehicle, shook every stack in the hexes except for 1. And then the French Foreign Legion kind of looked around and went, yeah, nice shooting. We'll see you guys later. Walked off the map. Thanks for playing. Now, interestingly enough, that wouldn't have happened if we had the older rules, right? So there's an unintended consequence of us trying to get more nuanced, trying to be more clever, trying to add more ASL into LNL. And it's one of the things that, while I'm really not that opposed to these new rules, being put into the game because some designer guy wants to leave their mark. I get it. There's a little crew of guys that are trying to make it more awesome. God bless them, right? But that's one of the unintended consequences. Now, that wasn't the only type of mission I could have chosen as well. So further on in that scenario, there was one BMP left, and so it had a line of sight right across the exit to the board. And so, what's the obvious thing to do there? Well, if I lay, they have a broad spread mission as well, where I can pick a hex and then 2 hexes out, everything gets attacked at half strength of the firepower. Well, that's interesting. But what's the other effect of having that? When you do that, when you try to shoot through a artillery zone, it's a degrading hex. Well, more than 2 hexes means it's going to be a blocked hex side, right? It's going to be blocking terrain then. So that was the other thing that I did, because I played this scenario a couple of times, right? But one of the things that I then did is said, oh, well, these guys can't get off. So I've got that last arty mission, boom, I'll put it here. And then it's blocking terrain. It's blocking terrain because of the artillery. And once again, my guys just toddled off. So law of unintended consequences. When you go and make changes to a game system that's been around for a long, long time, and you think you've tested all the options, you probably haven't. And you might want to do a little more thinking about it and make some of these rules optional versus mandatory. It's kind of disappearing, kind of disappointing that those types of things have sort of crept into the game, along with the hold down business and some other bits and pieces like that. So it's kind of a surprise. All right, so let's see who else has been chatting here while I've been crapping on. Paul Combin, yes, I would like to see this link. Matt White, don't make me find it myself, please. Put the link in my damn thread here, and if you have already, someone else put it in here because I can't see it. Yeah, Mo, that's a good point. So, that's one of the other things you can do with lock and load is, because there are so many modules, if you wanted to give more advanced features or capabilities, you could take a set of rules, new rules, and make them module-based rules. So you might have a Fallujah module, for instance, that has very specific artillery rules or concealed fire rules or spotting rules, as the case may be, and it might be unique to that module, versus making a blanket set of rules for a system and assuming that just because you played it in the World War II mode or in Mogadishu or somewhere that it blanket fits everything. There's always going to be edge cases, and there's always going to be circumstances where it absolutely changes the balance of the scenarios that have been provided in the past. And we all know that one of the great things about lock and load tactical scenarios from the past has been that those scenarios were extremely finely tuned. So just slapping a new set of rules on top of these scenarios doesn't always work. Now, I will say this about lock and load. That was one of the things that I was most concerned about when I saw all the rules changes for War 85. I was really kind of disappointed because there were really significant changes, yet I saw that a lot of the scenarios weren't getting changed at all. And somehow, Keith Tracton has done an amazing job of honoring the old system and keeping its roots consistent and the gameplay on a knife edge with the scenarios and the rule changes. And I don't know how he did that, but he's done an amazing job. So kudos to him. Fabrizio Vianello, where the hell is my sacred oil? Come on, man. Yeah, I don't want to see you sitting here chit-chatting. You're probably sitting outside drinking wine, eating grapes and cheese in the afternoon. What is it, 5, 6 o'clock over there, 7 o'clock in France right now? You're out in the sun. It's getting towards the end of summer over there. You should be working, making my game. I want my damn game. Get after it. Let's go. Chris Ridley, good to see you. Nick Rosa, What the hell? How is parenthood, Nick? Ha ha. Ha ha. How's the gaming coming along, buddy? Oh dear. No, Sacred Oil is not available yet. That's my point. I want my game. All right, I got to put the air conditioner on. It's getting hot. There goes my water. I told you I was better. I didn't say I was perfect. All right. Let's see. Let me get my water bottle. Okay. What else? See, who else can do a live stream like this? Huh? You just can't get this sort of quality anywhere. Oh, so good. So good. Sun in England. Ha ha. Yes, indeed. That is a joke, right? Poor old England. What happened? Talk about falling from grace. Oh dear. All right. Well, Fabrizio, you've disappeared on us. That means you probably either you're being non-committal or it's coming sooner than we think, and it better be coming sooner than we think. I would actually be really interested to see this second part of your scenario that you were writing up there, Fabrizio, and I would love to see more of that gameplay, and hopefully, I don't want to kick sand in your game, but hopefully there are not too many clever little things you have to do in terms of manipulative things with counters and transferring helos from one transport to another so that you can make things happen. Hopefully you keep it consistent for the dumbasses like myself. Gary Marshall is calling in from Scotland. That's nice to see. Well, make sure I don't do any Scottish brogue accents so I don't get yelled at and lose yet another subscriber. Good to see you. You know, I had the last video I did last live stream I did, I was I think I asked anyone if they had a copy of CNA for sale at a reasonable price, and a gentleman actually reached out to me and is going to send me his copy. Now he doesn't necessarily know if it's complete, and I think it's 2 copies of the game, kind of in a box. So who knows what I'll end up getting, but very generous, and I'm super excited to actually get a physical copy of that game. Not because I'm going to play it solo or anything, but because I want to try and get re-engaged with the team that are playing CNA right now, and it's been difficult without the physical 400 plus pages of bullshit that comes with the game, and so I'm excited to eventually receive that from him at some point. So that was very nice. All right, let's see. AAR. Oh, here's Fabrizio. Here we go. I'll have an AAR about scenario 3. The sea gave up the dead. Ooh. U.S. debarking at Bandar Abbas. That's ballsy. Oh, I'm sorry, Bo. CNA is Campaign for North Africa. And I have been participating in a 5-turn gameplay with the full rules. And in the midst of getting sick, I had done, the part of the first turn or 3/4 of the first turn with the crew. There was 5 of us, I think. And then I got sick and I had to bow out. So that's what that's all about. Right. Jeffrey, good to see you. Gentlemen. All right. Well, I'm trying to think what else we can chit chat about here. Don't panic. Don't leave just yet. You know what's been a sort of a hankering of mine of late is the Vietnam game, the next war of Vietnam. I've been very curious about getting that back on the table too, just because I don't know. There seems to be the more I've thought about the gameplay, and you guys haven't seen the. I think I did video and write up, but I haven't finished all the write up. There was a lot of very fortuitous things that occurred for the NATO side, and I'm wondering if on a second game play through whether that same sort of luck would necessarily hold out. I made some arguably odd choices for NATO. I kept their air out of the game for the first two turns and allowed the build up to occur. And assuming that I did the transfers of air units correctly and got them all in the right spots, that made a big difference to the attrition levels that the that the Chinese were able to apply, the PRC were able to apply to the Vietnamese. And I'm curious to see if it will all still hang together if I tried that same sort of strategy again. Has anybody played Vietnam, the next war here in the group? There's 30 of you here now, 33 of you here now. Look at you. Across the two platforms. Nick, I just noticed here that you said that your gaming life is non-existent. That makes me happy. It's good to see that the norms of life hold true even for the youngsters. That despite your best intentions, you 100% dealing with kids. But I do notice that you are. Aren't you still trying to design a couple of battles for the Line of Battle series? I think I heard a rumor that was the case, and I've seen some photographs of stuff. Oh, Chris Ridley's hilarious. Look at him. Yeah. Chris, I don't think so. I don't think I could do the three. I've thought about linking the games, and I'm not sure that it holds that much interest to me in terms of a theater-wide exercise. I think as a team gameplay, it would be fun, but as a solo endeavor, I just don't know that that's something that's going to get my juices flowing as much as, say, when I played Case Blue and GB2 together. That was really kind of fun and interesting and thought-provoking and challenging. But there's a lot of minutia in the Next War series that if you don't get it right, it can really skew the results, and so you have to be pretty super careful with your gameplay. So it doesn't lend itself to big monster interconnected solo gameplay as much. Kyle, what's up, dog? Kyle, yeah. Yeah, so there's a cold day in hell that I'll be buying CNAs as done by Decision Games. I can only imagine after the Desert Fox Deluxe debacle. Anyway, let's see who else we got here. So yeah, Mo, that's a really good point about Silver Bayonet. If we can get that guy Patrick on board and maybe get Mitch to help out, I would love to redo that game that we tried. I think we got 3 turns in, right? It was double blind, guys. So we played Silver Bayonet double blind, and we basically had a vassal screen, and did we use vassal? I think we did. No, we didn't use vassal. What was it? I think it was just a picture of the map with diagrams, and then we had to draw stuff in. I think it would be better to use vassal somehow versus having to draw shit in on a JPEG all the time. It's kind of got painful after a while. Yeah. So, and Nick, and I know we're bouncing around here a little bit, but Nick, which battle or battles are you focused on, Nick, in terms of developing those because I think they were generally the work you had done was very well received. So I'd be curious to see how that progresses, and please let me know if that's going to get published so we can talk about it and help boost the sales for you. Because $1 a copy, you could make money. Um, yeah, Mo. So this is a good point here. I forgot that I can put stuff up on the screen like that. So there's that. That's for the next war series. I think that's a really good point. Glad to see that Tomas is getting into the next war series. That's pretty cool. Yeah, once you get into the advanced stuff, while it kicks everything up a notch in terms of game time and complexity, it really is worth it to try and put that effort in because of the choices you get to make with the special forces and the cruise missiles and the regular missiles, and then your aircraft and the air war, and what are you going to do with your HQs? How are you going to try and interdict the HQs? Are you going to interdict traffic in general? Using the cyber warfare rules from the first supplement are pretty cool as well. That's a lot of fun. So I really dig that. Here we go. So Nick, damn. That's some work. Look at that cute little spud. And I'm not talking about Nick, I'm talking about the baby. That's a great way to spend time, though, right? If you can't play games, at least you can be thinking and attempting to design titles there. That's very cool. Well, I'm sure you'll get there, buddy, but we'll be rooting for you. Well, Fabrizio, we would love to get some of that action on the big board. Love to get some exclusivio. You know what I'm saying, dog? Talk to me. And then, of course, there's that, right? Yeah, look, there's a good point. Who got stuff on the GMT sale? Anybody buy anything? What did I buy? I bought Cataphract because I pre-ordered it, then canceled it. Then I thought I pre-ordered it again and didn't. So I'm buying it on the sale, which I think ends up saving me money over the pre-order price, which is nice. And then I was going to get the Men of Iron tri-pack, but I really only I enjoyed the first one. What was it called? Not the first one. The actual Men of Iron. No, it wasn't Arquebus. What was it? The one with the medieval knights. What was that called? I forget. That one. I really enjoyed that module, but I ended up selling it. I really like that system, but I'm not interested in the English Civil War. Who cares? It's a non-event for me historically. So, oops, but it is. So I figured, I wasn't really excited about that. I couldn't see any other war games. Lots of rail games, lots of coin games, lots of put a block, take a block games. None of those things really got me super excited to try and, even to buy it at half price. What did I miss out on? What should I have purchased? What did you guys get? Rome versus Carthage. What game is that? Nevesky, yeah. If you're starting to like those area-based sort of abstract games, so that's cool. That looks interesting. Horrible artwork, but yeah. Oh, look at that! I'm going to get an exclusive. Woohoo! Nothing that I found of interest in the sale. They're out of counter trays. Yeah, right. Well, that's probably the thing I buy the most of from them is counter trays. Hey, and so what's going to happen with the great battles of history? Look, I know that other than rebooting and combining things into mega boxes, oh, I guess we're done with that series. Berg's dead. Herman really doesn't care anymore about Ancients. He's got his new Civil War sort of series, Napoleonic series he's going to do, and then he's got all these fancy sort of strategic, abstract three-player mind bender games with his one serious war game that he'll be doing, the Pacific War coming. But other than that, who else is going to support GBOH? Is that something that maybe Ralph will pick up? Ralph is the developer for Men of Iron and Blood and Roses and stuff like that. That would be cool because I know he's into Ancients. Alan Ray is looking after all of the Ancient World series. So Thunderbolt's going to come out at some point. The Second Punic War, that I'm super excited about. But from a war game perspective, it's kind of mighty thin over at GMT lately with just Simonich and Mitchell Land, just kind of holding the flag up, going, yes, we do hex and counter. Ha ha. Jim Day has got, okay, he does a module every 2 years for the Panzer system. But other than that, what else is coming out that's hex and counter wise? Mike Denson, last 100-yard system. What else? Maybe too many euros. Rhode Island, good call on Rhode Island. That's a good little system, and I think that system's done also. They're try packing the heck out of that system as well. Mr. Longshore, what is going on? We missed your witty repartee for the last 45 minutes. Wow, Charles is going to be busy. Look at that action. Oh, Avalon Hill TRC. That's the Russian campaign for those that don't know. And some Shiloh from Worthington. Interesting. There we go. Archipus. Men of Iron Tri-Pack. I almost got that, but skipped it. I was going to get the Richard Borg Samurai series set, and then I thought, I really want little samurai dudes with katanas running around. I don't want blocks, so I bailed on it. I think what I should have done is bought it and then tracked down that older version that he did, that Borg did, that someone else produced, that had all the minis. If I could find a painted version of that, that would have been really cool. And then put those in place to play with the GMT version. That would have been cool. Yeah, Tony, I'm just not feeling the love for GBACW. I'm not buying in on it. I am not buying in on it. All right, let's see what else we got here. Ooh, here we go. Thomas is he's buying up big. Julius Caesar, yeah, good game, good game. Oh, that's the you must have that on P500, and you got SPQR. Yeah, there's a lifetime of gaming out of that ancient system. I love that system so much. Every vacation I go on where I'm going to be in a place where I can set something up, I will always pack up one scenario and take it with me, because it's such a rich narrative that comes out of that. Whether you're using the simple rules or the regular rules, it's super cool system. I love that. I love that system, and like I said, a lifetime of gaming. I think I've got I've got a bastardized mess of the Alexander stuff. I've got two different versions of the Alexander system, a spare full set of counters for the original Alexander Deluxe. I've got the Alexander Macedonian Art of War, a spare set of a spare set of counters for that, because remember how they screwed them up and had to reissue them to everybody. So I've got that. SPQR, I've got a full mint copy of the new version. I've got a copy of the original one that I've had for 10 years, but I tore a bunch of my maps by accident, and some very nice dude sent me his copies of his maps, but they're from an earlier version, and they're actually the non-shiny paper and different artwork, and they're really cool. So I don't know what happened there with the artwork changing, actually, but it's pretty nice. So I've got kind of a blended doggy bowl of stuff from that as well. So I'm all over the place when it comes to that, and then everything else is all just original natural versions. Let's see, Charles. We covered that. We covered that. We covered that. We're not going to put that up there, Fabi. We don't need to start an argument there. And of course, everyone has probably noticed I have not raised the topic of the thread that was on Wargamers yesterday or the day before. Yeah, Rhode Island. I think that American Revolution system with the optional tactical rules really brings out the flavor of that era's combat. And I think if it didn't have that, those tactical chits that you sort of put down, refuse flank, advance, defense, or whatever it was. I forget what the options are now. But I think if you didn't have that, it would be a pretty generic kind of game. Because there wasn't a lot. There really wasn't a lot. It wasn't one of those periods where everything was still linear, but you're fighting in terrible terrain, and it was asymmetric in many aspects, and the musketry was so ineffective, and command was so kind of you were very easy to target leadership, and a lot of generals got shot and wounded in that war, but it was, those chits brought out some of the flavor of the tactical decisions that got to be made. Anyway, I'll shut up crapping about those. Well, yeah, wonder who that could be. That's it. The Zvezda model, the Zvezda, those versions. I need to find a copy of that. I think I need to get that, but I want someone to paint it for me. Anybody like? If there's anybody here who would paint that shit up for me, I would pay. How many pieces are in that? 100? Would I pay $1 a piece? Oh fuck! I don't know if I want to pay $1 a piece. I'm probably too cheap. That's why I don't do minis. It's too expensive to get it done, and I don't have the time to get it done. Jezza, no way. Are you kidding me? You want to get those out and paint them up and use them, bro? Okay, Matt. Now I may get interrupted by my wife here. She's parked right behind me. Damn it! I've got to go buy coffee. Shit. Actually, I need to probably get going soon. Oh, the ninja expansion. I didn't even know there was a ninja expansion. See? Look at you guys. Geniuses, all of you. Well, you guys are really chatting up a storm here. I'm trying to catch up. Oh, Chris, don't worry about it. It was just a thread about, people like myself who get free games and don't announce they're free and shit like that. Just it was a lot of nonsense. It's a whiny old git. Uh, Hey, look, I tell you what, for a dollar a piece, Mo, I kind of take what I could get, and then I could touch it up. It'd be good. I just have none of the tools. If you have one of those spray gun things, then you can spray all the pieces, like the base color, and then do all that wash and touch up, and then you're done. How hard can it be, right? Surely it's not that hard. Whoa, Jessa, what are you doing? Look, I could buy half a copy of Case Blue for that. Oh dear. Okay, so clearly I do not know what I'm talking about. I think a buddy of mine gets them done for $2 a piece here in town. So I'll talk to him then. Oh, it's got to be Hexasim, Thomas. It's got to be Hexasim. OSG is so long in the tooth, and beautiful research, great maps, but that's really where it ends. For me anyway. I like the operational scale stuff, but I don't like the attrition system and the operational scale stuff. And then the tactical level stuff, the actual battles with this, goofy retreat system and coming back on the board, not coming back on the board, and all that. I just don't like Kevin's view of Napoleonic warfare. And I don't believe that view has changed since 1976. And rather than reinvent and sort of bring all the new knowledge that we might have and new data that we have, rather that, why not take the same system and then just apply a different combat resolution methodology, different DRMs and different modifications and a different CRT, a different spread of results. Instead of a D6, make it a D10, or give us some more nuance around the tactics and the actions that actually really occurred, versus the sort of, it's 4-1 and you get a +1 if Napoleon's there. It just doesn't work for me. Hexasim, I think, has a nice level. It's deliberately abstract. I don't have to think about what's going on in each individual regiment, and it's deliberately designed that way so that you're trusting your commanders to make those decisions. And then the combat still manages to bring through the flavor of artillery, of cavalry, of leadership, and it does a more nuanced and flavorful job, I think, generally speaking. Now, that said, I still believe there are some challenges with Hexasim, so like the Quatre Bras game. When you get columns of infantry coming onto the board, those columns are stretched out way further than what they are with the counter size, right? So that means that in Quatre Bras, for instance, all the British arrive too soon, and so that is kind of a battle problem that needs a rule that probably wasn't thought out very well, and that was kind of disappointing. I wasn't a huge fan of Lingy. I didn't think that was a particularly fun battle to play. Don't know how it actually represented the history very well. Don't know the Battle of Lingy very well, so I can't really comment. I thought Austerlitz was fantastic, and that's probably my favorite module. And the Battle of Waterloo is just hard, right? So we'll see what they do with the new version of that when it comes out, because it's such a set piece battle. But anyway, that's probably my 2 cents on that action. Come on, Fabrizio, let us know. What's the deal? Yeah, John, I think your best bet there is to start with David Glantz and grab Barbarossa there from David Glantz. I would probably, I think Chris Ridley, who said here? Yeah, said David Stale. I'm not a huge David Stale fan, but you could get Jack Rady's book on the northern Moscow, defense of Moscow. That's a really good book. And then pick topics. I mean, there are a lot of good authors out there now. as you want to know about a specific battle, you can probably find 10 books. Just a matter of if you take glance as the kind of the preeminent resource, and then anyone who says that he's a smart guy in their bibliography or their notes, you probably can read him. Anyone who says he's an idiot, you could probably say, well, maybe I can discount him. There's a lot of puff and politics in Eastern Front sort of historical writing, a lot of revisionist nonsense too. So, um, yeah, Tony, you and I had a good time with that game, and I think being opposed made it significantly better. Um, I've played it solo, and I've played it opposed now like 5 times, so it's a great battle because of the fog and because of the fog of war mechanic they use, and it also works solo as well. So I wouldn't be opposed to playing it solo, and I have done that. It works out just fine. Um, All right, couple of months. So it's August, September. So we're right at October, which means Thanksgiving gameplay. That's what I'm talking about. All right, I'm excited about that action. I'm probably ordering at least, well, I know I'm ordering 1 copy. I may order 2 because I know what you suckers are like, and then I'll sell 1 and make a bunch of money, like $40. Uh, oh, John Longshore, what am I going to do with you? Yeah, I'm curious about all the cards I see you playing in that one scenario that you've posted online, and I'm curious about how many of those cards there are and how those cards are going to work in the game. And what do I need? What do I? What, how am I going to choose the right card, et cetera, et cetera? That will be interesting to learn more about. My birthday is October 7th. So just so everyone knows, Fabrizio, obviously that's a goal now, right? Delivery by October the 7th. Not asking for much. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about right there. Boom. Well, gentlemen, you know what I'm going to do? We've been on for an hour just shooting the shit, and you guys are awesome. Thank you for hanging out with me. You can probably tell I feel a whole lot better. And my wife is home. I need to go buy coffee beans so that we can actually survive the next couple of days of life in general. And I will look forward to catching up to all of you real soon. Thanks for checking in.